On this episode of the Layover Live, Leroy Bridges stops by to talk about some cool things happening in the SPC. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 163 of the Layover Live, where we bring you the top article from the Layover each week. I'm Jason Swick, VP of Strategy and Insights, and welcome to this week's show. Now, for destination marketers, this past year has been really a year like no other. I don't think I even need to say that, but it's safe to say that COVID has accelerated the speed at which we are going digital, and it's even rewarded those who are actually embracing it. We have seen digital platforms like Zoom and YouTube and Amazon quickly move from like these conveniences of our life to just outright dependencies just to make it through all of our days, right? It's been crazy. Now, as any destination marketer, I think we would want to make decisions that take these increased reliances on technology and try to use those to our advantage. So as we get back to building our brands and bringing travelers back into our destinations, which seems to be happening very quickly if you've been in an airport lately, I think it's important that we take a moment to also reflect on these changes and also the lessons that we've learned along the way. So some of the lessons I think that I've learned that some of you may share is working to be more agile. I think we have to be more accepting of change and being able to pivot and move as things start to happen. I think also networking and connecting more with our colleagues and friends. We had Gathan Borden on recently who talked about, find your trusted circle, your source of truth. And I think that's really important. And also building resiliency, the ability to be able to adapt and refocus and take advantage of new opportunities as they present themselves. Now, these are just some of the lessons for me. There are many, many more, but oftentimes all of them involve being more creative and stepping out and trying new things. And I think one destination that seems to be doing that all the time is Visit St. Pete's Clearwater, the SPC, and our friend Leroy Bridges, whose team, along with the Clearwater Film Commission and also Visit Florida, took advantage of this type of thinking to increase this digital dependency and really leveraged their creativity to launch an 8-episode series on Amazon Prime called Life's Rewards. And we're going to get to that in a second. But Leroy, I wanted to welcome you to the show, man. Good to see you again.
Hey, Jason, good to see you. I don't have the unruly beard this time, little trim back. It's not as in like it was 10 months ago when I joined the show during the height of the pandemic.
Yeah, man. I remember looking back at the episode as a little. Now, let me tell you, though, what you even have right now would probably take me a year to grow. So I'm jealous. So, man, you're still looking good, buddy.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Now, theme today, again, we're talking about accelerating at the speed at which digital is growing. And so I wanted to share our article of the week that comes from CNN, which really talks about, the growth of video streaming, which you guys really are taking advantage of. And I'll get to that in a minute, Leroy. But you think about video streaming, it's really doubled since 2019. More and more people are starting to consume media in different ways. Slowly but surely, you're starting to see streaming really take over linear TV, and it's going to happen at some point in time. But before I even get to that, I want to check in with you because it's been a year or so since you've been on the show, and the last time that we talked. And as we just entered the pandemic, I think DMOs really started to pivot their marketing initiatives back then. So just first and foremost, how are things going with you guys in SPC?
It's quite unbelievable to talk about the visitation records that we're seeing right now, given where we were, 10 months ago when we got together and talked. Our industry obviously had seen very much better days then. I know there's still a lot of destinations coming out of this, and so still, thinking about them and hoping the best. But travel demand for our destination has never been higher. We're since pretty much the third week in March, we're breaking 2019 records. That was a record year. It's remarkable. Occupancy record highs, rate record highs. People are taking that Florida beach vacation that they hadn't been able to take for a long time. And I'm sure we're benefiting from international borders being closed and cruises still kind of not quite in full gear.
Yeah, man. Listen, the beach sounds awesome. I think it's great to see it returning and it's booming, which kind of brings up this next point, right? Let's take it a virtual vacation, so to speak, right? So tell us, man. I want to get into this idea of this life reward show. This is a great idea that you guys had to do. This kind of marketing, / video television series, which began streaming back in May on Amazon Prime. So please check it out if you haven't seen it. The episodes are also really consumable too. So it's something that you can. I think won't take a lot of time, but it's very informative. informative, but man, how did you come up with this concept? Like, how did this whole thing even come about?
Yeah, yeah, appreciate you highlighting the show. Like you
Yeah.
said, Life's Rewards on Amazon Prime Video. Never thought I would be an executive producer for a TV
Right.
show, but that's where we are. Pretty cool. I'll be honest. A couple years ago, a lot of the major brands were rolling out big time content studios.
Uh-huh.
Marriott was one of them, creating their own, entertainment. It shows based
Yeah.
in a hotel. Yeah, it's product placement. The hotel's in the background, but the show is really about the script. It's about the entertainment, and really getting people to consume as much content as they can that
Yeah.
features their product. So several years ago, our film commissioner and I actually had a conversation like, let's create a TV show. That's a lot of work, breaking news. And so we never really got it off the ground. However, fast forward to last summer, mid pandemic, kudos to Visit Florida for bringing this idea
Mm-hmm.
forward to us. They had a similar thought. Let's create a scripted TV show. It's all about entertainment, get people to consume as much of it. And from the very first call I had with Visit Florida and Miles Partnership, I was this is ours. We're in. Let's do the whole season. And what a better time, to launch working on scripts and a TV show than the pandemic, which was obviously a bit slower for us than normal times.
Well, and I imagine that it gave you the opportunity to probably shoot the show in a way that might have been a little easier than when the beaches are super crowded and things are nuts and going crazy. And it gave the opportunity again. We talk about this acceleration. It sounds like again something you guys were looking at or are aspirational about doing something like this for like a long time, and it provided that opportunity. And the fact that you took advantage of that opportunity, I think, is excellent. I think it's just a great way to see how acceleration has happened in the digital space and how we've really moved things forward as the pandemics come about. So going to be tough on the top, man, but looking ahead, like what does the rest of the year then look like for you guys? I know things are starting to get really busy right now. Numbers are starting to return. I mean, I was looking at TSA data, man, and it's pretty much where it was at before, or even ahead of where it was back like pre-pandemic. What's coming down the pipeline then that you're able to share with us?
Yeah, that's a good question. And for those who haven't watched the show,
Yeah.
you need to. It leaves off in a pretty good place.
Uh-huh.
There isn't official word on a season 2, but my guess
Okay.
is down the line for us this year is going to be a season 2. And we've seen some pretty amazing results from the show so far. More than 1 million minutes of the show has been consumed
Wow.
already. And that's
Wow.
by hundreds of thousands of unique viewers. Some of the data and the metrics we can get from Amazon is pretty cool. As well as obviously it's living on YouTube as well. Not as fun to say because we've been on YouTube for a long time, never had something on Amazon Prime, but a season 2 is definitely likely, very much likely in the works for us. You're right. It's kind of hard to top launching and releasing a show, but
Yeah.
incredible project to work on, hand in glove with Visit Florida, working on the scripts, working on character development, understanding what destination, aspects of the destination we want to include.
Yeah.
And the filming actually happened in January, February of this year. So as we kind of emerged from the pandemic, believe this, we actually shot 2 weeks, took 2 weeks off around the Super
Wow.
Bowl. Super Bowl was in town, and then finished it up
Mhm.
in February with the launch in May. It was a mad rush in post-production, but excited for the industry to see it, and to consume it. We've heard great response, and I would imagine there's going to be another destination in the TV show space by the end of the year. If I was a betting man.
Oh, I would take that bet with you all the way, man. I totally agree. And cool to see you guys at the forefront of that. Hey, I'm happy to see there's another episode. And what a great way also then, because you got over this first milestone to even, we talk about the DMOs getting more involved with locals and their community and things like that. Boy, I got to imagine this is a great way to really start to build a relationship locally, right? I think, if you think about now people want to be, featured or showcased on there or being open to those things. Wow, we talk about that. I think, man, this is a step in the direction and the trends that we're seeing. So yeah, best of luck there. I'll be looking for that for sure. So what I want to ask is similar to kind of what we asked during the pandemic. It's probably changed a little bit now, or maybe it hasn't, but I think you being one of the guys I really respect in the space a lot and being really forward thinking, what advice do you have for other destinations out there? Now that, we're a year from our last episode, has the advice stayed the same, or what other advice out there do you want to share with destination marketers as we move forward?
my previous advice still stands about, having that inner circle and that important group to
Yeah.
connect with. But I think I'd like to touch on something, data driven, data oriented at the moment. There's been a huge rush in the space, specifically around DMOs and data products and dashboards, and a lot of players in the space. And data has long been a challenge for our industry just because we don't possess that cash register, right? We don't see the transaction. So I would just say, when it comes to data and measurement, there's a tool for everybody. There's a million and one sources and outlets out there. I would say take your time, measure it all, measure all of the opportunities, but be careful about hardwiring yourself to too much, because there is a tool and there's a KPI for everything. Understand what those true KPIs and measurements that define success for your organization are, and dig into those and really push those forward, rather than trying to say, A to Z, this is what we can, measure and understand, even though you may not have a plan to activate around that data.
Boy, I think that's great advice, man. I know pre-show we're talking a little bit about data and how that's really heated up. Finding that North Star, or North Stars in your case, I think is important, right? And just because we can measure it, does that mean that we should measure it, right? And track it. So I think that's excellent advice, especially as we move forward and we're having to do a lot more, often with less. I think being able to turn that data into insights is important, and I think you're spot on with that. So, yeah, Leroy, thanks for coming on the show, man. Are you heading to DI in a couple weeks?
Won't be a DI, but I'll be out at Esto. Looking forward to handshakes and hugs. I'll be honest with you, I'm a vaccinated guy who's ready to get out there and mingle with the industry folk who we haven't necessarily seen face to face for some time. So excited to get out there and just connect with everybody in person, not through screen.
Yeah, which will be nice also. Well, listen, you won't be at DI, but I'll be at Esto as well. I'll see you there, man, and we'll catch up. So thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet. And thanks for tuning in each and every week. If you're not subscribed, please do so now. We're also available on iTunes and Spotify through audio podcast. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.